I think I hated the Rudy Gobert trade more for Minnesota than any trade for the last 30 years that I've hated for a team.
I didn't like it from the beginning.
Now you got to trade Cat.
I hated it then. I hate it now.
Less versatile all the way around.
And it's an embarrassment to the city of Minnesota and the Timberwolves organization.
And I don't know if this little trio together is long-term going to get you in a position where you're a contender.
Last year, the Wolves struggled through a disappointing season after making a blockbuster trade. And we actually detailed how their atypical pairing of Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't really working, but that was last year. So what exactly has changed since last season? I actually think their recent game against the Mavs is a great window into why this team is so much better. Dallas came out scorching hot on the back of Luka Doncic, who had 18 points and 7 assists midway through the second quarter by attacking the Wolves' drop coverage, carving into the paint and using his size to shoot over defenders. Here it is again, where he's able to use the space in front of the drop coverage to put his defender in jail and then work to find a sweet spot. So instead of unraveling after this 17-2 run to start the game, they just went to work and chipped away at the lead. And on defense, adjusted their coverages to make it a little bit harder for Luka to get into the paint. Karl-Anthony Towns comes way out to meet him here, and Jaden McDaniels tightens the screws on the ball, nearly turns him over, and just hounds him the entire possession. The next trip, Dallas sets the screen even higher. McDaniels wisely slides under to cut Luka off, and then no one overhelps on Doncic. Naz Reid and especially Cat could react to Luka's drive, but they trust McDaniels to contain him. Everyone's positioned perfectly, and Anthony Edwards reacts for the steal. Then they throw another coverage at Doncic when Nickeil Alexander-Walker jump switches to meet him. That aggression slows him down briefly, so when he uses the next screen, Towns is there to slide with him, and then everyone's perfectly placed on the pass, and it's another turnover. And this is a quick second effort from Cat, recovering off ball to help take away any passing options. Compare that to a year ago, where his effort and focus after the initial action was far more inconsistent. So you're more likely to see plays like this, where he does a nice job meeting the ball, but then disengages a bit on the second effort, and that can lead to defensive breakdowns. Here's a play from this year where he lingers to provide nice help, and then immediately recovers to the shooter. And watch the total team effort here. McDaniels is glued to Klay Thompson, both guards react to cutters, and that's a tough shot at the end of the clock, and even on the offensive rebound, the effort and positioning is crisper, and you end up with incredible sequences like this. Now, some of the changes also upgrading personnel. Mike Conley's in a zone here, provides emergency help in the paint, then recovers nicely to the perimeter, then peels off to save a layup pass, and that's great recognition and activity to take away those primary actions. Last year, D'Angelo Russell started 54 games, and he inadvertently leaves here before there's a rebound, which was symptomatic of those old second effort issues. Anthony Edwards in particular had a lot of sleepy moments last season as a 21-year-old, but he's reading the game better now. Look at this transition play where he's matched on the weak side, and when they double Jokic, Edwards is ready to help and is athletic enough to save a dunk. Here's one against the Mavs where he matches up with his man in the backcourt, realizes Nickeil's in trouble and explodes into position to help, and then just smothers the pass for a turnover to boot, and then takes it the other way for maybe a few extra steps and a layup. Better engagement and communication make Minnesota's zone more effective too. Listen to Towns call this out. And now Cat is all the way on the other side to match up, then recovers to the cutter, and when they flash a shooter across the floor, Ant says, so Cat's in position, Gobert's behind, Edwards shrinks the court, and Conley's all over the corner pass, and that is how you do it. This time, it's perimeter quickness in the zone. Alexander Walker sprints to the pass. And notice Naz Reid close and defend the corner pass. Then Edwards pounces on the reversal. McDaniels is ready when they swing it cross court, and he funnels the ball to the big man, and Cat contests nicely. The Wolves will play zone, drop coverage, bring the big man out to the level of the screen, and even come out and show near half court to bother players like Doncic. Gobert will do this as well. So he comes out and slides with Luka. Towns helps and then recovers quickly to the perimeter. He lunges at an up fake, but Rudy covers that up behind him, and then Edwards gets a pretty good contest on the three. Just look at how much size they have out there. McDaniels is 6'9", Cat's a 7-footer. Then Gobert comes to dispel any notion of shooting, and on the reset, the Mavs again want to bring Rudy out high. He comes all the way beyond the arc, and it takes that crazy Luka dribble to split the defenders, but a 7-footer is still waiting at the basket. There's more perfect rotations behind the play, and now there's no advantage, and they end up with a really difficult mid-range fade from Grant Williams. I actually think Gobert's mobility is pretty underrated. He slides with Doncic here, and then denies the entry pass, and extends all the way out to complete the steal, and turn defense into offense for the Timberwolves. The Mavs tried to move Luka off ball so he could come off a screen into a handoff, and now Luka knows Gobert's coming out to meet him, so the roller can release freely, but Rudy's a step ahead and recovers beautifully to steal the pass. Here's one more example from this game where Gobert's at the free throw line. Usually the baseline defender rotates over here, but Rudy's mobile enough to slide and choke off the drive. And scoring on Gobert this year is like shoving a beach ball into a coffee cup. When he's on the floor, teams are shooting 5% below league average at the rim, and they are shooting it way less there. Chet Holmgren tries the up fake and drive here, but Gobert shuts off every option, and then as the shot clock is evaporating, they end up with Rudy psyching out a jumper, and it's another massive stand. Chet might have been in his head there because a few minutes earlier, Gobert somehow blocked this floater, and an underrated part of his paint presence is how little he and his teammates foul when he's out there patrolling the lane. Back in that Dallas game, in addition to multiple coverages, they also threw multiple bodies at Luka. Kyle Anderson's strong enough to deal with big wings and crafty enough to turn them over like that, and that's more defense into offense. On this one, that was close. McDaniels was often Luka's primary defender, and he's good at navigating screens and just hounding ball handlers, but he's also good enough not to fixate on a superstar matchup, telling Rudy his man slipped behind him, then just going and erasing a dunk himself. And finally, they threw Anthony Edwards at Doncic, and he can string together these incredible possessions guarding the ball, where he looks like the platonic ideal of a wing defender on a basketball court. And even on the reset here, he navigates the screen perfectly. And this is why Dallas scored just 53 points in the final 2.5 quarters of this game. The Wolves currently have the best defensive rating in the league, although to be fair, this schedule has been soft, and opponents are missing more open threes than usual. But this defense has improved from where they were at the end of last year, when they defended the Nuggets better than any other opponent during Denver's run to the title. In their first matchup this season, they've already given Jokic and company fits, holding them to a miserable 89 points en route to a blowout victory for the Timberwolves. The offensive fit between the two 7-footers still isn't perfect, although Gobert's certainly been crisper with his spacing this season, and on that end, Towns is healthy and posting good offensive numbers again. This team is primarily winning with that defense built around Rudy Gobert's rim protection, the length and athleticism of its wings, and some dependable veterans who are in the right place at the right time. So the question is no longer whether this Rudy Gobert Twin Tower experiment will work. The question with Minnesota has become just how far can this team go in the 2024 playoffs? To support us directly, check out patreon.com/thinkingbasketball. That's where you can get our player and team stats boards to see information like how Minnesota is faring defensively when accounting for opponent shooting or opponent's strength of schedule. Let me know what you think of the Wolves' defense and improvement this year down below. Thanks for watching this one all the way through, and of course, I hope you are having a great day.